Do you believe in fate? Do you believe that people meet by chance and everyone is placed in our path for a reason? Daily, millions of individuals pass one another, sharing quick moments that no one remembers. In a lifetime, an average person will come into contact with approximately 80,000 others. Still, a few will never leave a remarkable mark. Others are a temporary memory, yet others can alter your life forever, no matter how minimal. Picture a late-night taxi ride along the deserted street of a town. Just another routine fare for the driver. But for one elderly woman, this trip is not just transportation. It's a farewell. A final journey wrapped in memory and silent gratitude. In the grand scheme of life, one trip, nothing more. But in that instant, a random gesture of kindness transforms an ordinary evening into something extraordinary and incredible. This is the real strength of human connection. A reminder that the most minor acts, patient ear, minute, kind word, can be more powerful than we know. In this video, we have a life-changing story by Kent Nerburn that illustrates how compassion can turn the mundane into something remarkable. Love is not in the grand gestures, but in the quiet, unwavering presence of one soul for another. Kent Nerburn. Stay with us until the end and learn how to untap your potential. Welcome to Untapping Your Potential, where we will share with you motivational stories, motivational figures, comeback stories, and public speaking tips that will keep you growing and inspire you to take action. 20 years ago, I drove a cab for a living. One time I arrived in the middle of the night for a pickup at a dark building, except for a single light in a ground floor window. Under these circumstances, many drivers would just honk once or twice, wait a minute, and then drive away. But I had seen too many impoverished people who depended on taxis as their only means of transportation. Unless the situation smelled of danger, I always went to the door. This passenger might be someone who needs my assistance. I reasoned to myself, so I walked to the door and knocked. Just a minute, answered a frail elderly voice. I could hear something being dragged across the floor, and after a long pause, the door opened. A small woman in her 80s stood before me. She was wearing a print dress and a pillbox hat with a veil pinned on it, like something out of the 1940s. By her side was a small nylon suitcase. The apartment looked as if no one had lived in it for years. All the furniture was covered with sheets. There were no clocks on the walls, no knicks-knacks or utensils on the counters. In the corner was a cardboard box filled with photos and glassware. "Would you carry my bag to the car?" she said. I took the suitcase to the cab, then returned to assist the woman. She took my arm, and we walked slowly towards the curb. She kept thanking me for her kindness. "Oh, it's nothing," I told her. "I just try to treat my passengers the way I want my mother treated." "Oh, you're such a good boy," she said. When we got into the cab, she gave me an address and then asked, "Could you drive through downtown?" "It's not the shortest way," I answered quickly. "Oh, I don't mind," she said. "I'm in no hurry. I'm on my way to a hospice." I looked in the rearview mirror. Her eyes were glistening. A faint smile crossed her lips. "Thank you," she whispered. "Could you drive through downtown one last time? I used to work there. That was like years ago. It would be nice to see it again." I nodded, my hand suddenly feeling heavier on the wheel. I quietly reached over and shut off the meter. "What route would you like me to take?" I asked. And for the next 2 hours, we drove through the city. She showed me the building where she had once worked as an elevator operator. We went through the neighborhood where she and her husband had lived when they were newlyweds. She had me pull up in front of a furniture warehouse there that had once been a ballroom where she had gone dancing as a girl. Sometimes she'd ask me to slow in front of a particular building or corner and sit staring into the darkness, saying nothing. As the first hint of sun was creasing the horizon, she suddenly said, "I'm tired. Let's go now." We drove in silence to the address she had given me. It's a low building, like a small convalescent home, with a driveway that passed under a portico. 2 orderlies came out of the cab as soon as we pulled up. They were solicitous and intent, watching her every move. They must have been expecting her. I opened the trunk and took the small suitcase to the door. The woman was already seated in a wheelchair. "How much do I owe you?" she asked, reaching into her purse. "Nothing," I said. You have to make a living, she answered. There are other passengers. And almost without thinking, I bent and gave her a hug, and she held on to me tightly. You gave an old woman a moment of joy, she said. Thank you. I squeezed her hand, then walked into the dim morning light. Behind me, a door shut. It was the sound of the closing of a life. I didn't pick up any more passengers that shift. I drove aimlessly, lost in thought. For the rest of that day, I could hardly talk. What if that woman had gotten an angry driver, or one who was impatient to end a shift? What if I had refused to take the run and had honked once and then driven away? On a quick review, I don't think I have done nothing more important in my life. We're conditioned to believe that our lives revolve around great moments, but great moments often catch us unaware, beautifully wrapped in what others may consider a small one. Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness means the world to someone else. Tales like these are reminders that kindness isn't solely grand acts. It's in the small gestures that last. One simple decision, one instance of patience, or one act of kindness can turn a life around in ways we can never quite know. And the wonderful thing is that you don't have to wait to be for the perfect time to make a difference. You see, kindness is something we can practice every day in the smallest ways. Here's how you can start. Number 1, be present in small moments. Just put the phone down, step into a world, and simply be present. True generosity is not measured in dollars, but in the depth of the heart from which it is given. Kent Nerburn. Number 2, practice unexpected kindness. You hurry through your day, preoccupied with your own schemes, and you hardly even notice the presence of people around you. The barista is clearly tired. Your older neighbor has not had a visitor all week, and the stranger sitting beside you appears to be lost in thought. Small kindness, when added together, become the most important things in life. Kent Nerburn. The best kindness is the one given freely, without expecting anything in return. You never know how much of an impact a simple gesture can have. And number 3, cherish every interaction. It's easy to assume there's always another time. When did you last spend time with your family? You told yourself you'll visit your grandparents next week and I'll call your parents later. Weeks before months, and before you know it, the chance to spend time with them is lost. It is much easier to look back and say, I'm glad I did, than to regretfully say, I wish I had. Kent Nerburn. The story was a good example of how small things can have a big impact. You don't know what's happening with someone, but a little kindness can change someone's life. So go about your day and pick kindness. It is more important than you realize. At the end of the day, people will remember what you said or did, but they will remember how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. Thanks for watching this video. How would you like to hear more motivational stories consistently? Do me a favor, support the channel by sharing and commenting below. And please make sure to like and hit that subscribe button to get the latest update. Soon, you will be on your way to feeling inspired.